Hey man, I'm really glad you're tuning into this quick workshop on how to change your body and your life once and for all. I've helped thousands of athletes, whether it's pros, collegiate athletes, executives, everyday people, people who were obese, people who are skinny, to try to get them more muscular. I've been doing this for over 25 years. I'm good at what I do, and I know that if you're willing to meet me halfway and remain in touch with me on a regular basis, we can also get you into unbelievable shape, make you feel like a champion, help you perform better in everyday life. So this workshop is going to share the core 5 areas that you need to take your physique to the next level. Get a pen, get a paper out, take some notes, and write down a list of questions for me that pertain to you, and let's get after it. I'm going to tell you right now, the biggest game changer when it comes down to shaping your body, whether it's putting on some muscle, getting leaner, or just being in maintenance mode, is going to come down to your food intake. So it's 3 things. We've got calories, we've got protein, and we've got your nutrients. Let's talk about calories. There's a basic formula that I use. It's basically this: you take your body weight, so in my case it's 180 pounds, and I'm going to multiply it by 10. So what that does, that gives your basal metabolic rate. If I do the calculation, I've got 1,800 calories. So this is what I need when I'm just doing nothing but living, lying down, sitting down on the couch. Now obviously we have an additional 300 calories, 500 calories, it might be 700 calories for a young man who's very active, an additional 1,000 calories that you're going to burn throughout the day through exercise. So in this case, I'm probably going to add about 500 for me, which means it's 2,300 calories. That's how many calories I need to maintain my body. If I can hit this amount of calories throughout my day, 7 days a week, I'm going to stay the same. So this number here is critical for you. If we can nail down that number specifically for you and design a program around your numbers, you're going to see changes. If we don't do that, you're just playing in the dark. It's like throwing an arrow at a dartboard in the dark. You hope you hit your target, but you're just playing around. So with regards to this, if I want to get into a deficit, I might very well decrease my calories by 300, get down to 2,000, and I'm going to see change in my body. Now, to take it to the next level, we use a formula called the Mifflin-Gior formula. All professionals use this formula. We use it on athletes. And what that does is it takes your age, it takes your gender, it takes your activity levels, it takes your height, and it really gives you a specific number versus the 2,300 rough estimate. And then what we do is we track you for a week. And when we track you for a week, we find out exactly what the calorie total is you need based on your own nuances. So that's the professional way to do it. It's the Mifflin-Gior formula. It works really well. Now, once we've nailed down the calories, the next most important thing, it's critical, that's your protein intake. So how many grams of protein do you need? What we do is we take your lean muscle mass. Now understand something, that's not your body weight. So I'm 180 pounds, but if I stripped off 20 pounds, stripped off all the fat off my body, I'd probably be about 160 pounds of lean muscle mass. You need that number. And what you do is you're going to take that number and you're going to multiply it by 0.8, 1.0, 1.2, even up to 1.5, depending on how much muscle you want to put on, how much you break down your body. So in this case, a sedentary person, we take the 160 times 0.8. If you're pretty athletic, you're gonna take 160 times 1.0. What I worked out for me that worked best for me was I was around 200 grams of protein per day to really make it work for me and really get leaner, get more muscular, get chiseled, and feel amazing. So again, all you got to do is when you're working with me, you're working as part of the team, we figure out that number for you, we check off the calories, we check off your protein, and then you're off to the races. The third most important thing is the nutrients you put into your body. So we're talking about number 3 here. Bottom line is, when you drive to a gas station with your Porsche 911 Turbo, you're going to pull up and you're going to put in premium gas because you respect the car, you respect the engine. Why wouldn't you do the same for your body? So we get rid of the processed shit, we eat high quality nutrients, and what's going to happen is this is going to give you the vitamins and the minerals to perform your best, feel amazing, and basically repair your body properly. These nutrients are huge. So bottom line is, when we design a nutrition program for you, or you're designing your own, what we want to do is we want to have high quality nutrients. We want to have a system in place with regards to how you eat. We've got a template on your fridge, 1 or 2 breakfasts, that's your routine, 2 or 3 different lunches, 3 or 4 different dinners, and then we build up a refuel for you if you so choose. But we stick with that template, we put it on the fridge, and we follow something that meets your calorie totals, it meets your protein totals, and it meets your nutrient profile that you need to perform up to your optimal levels. Now understand something, if you don't nail these 3 things down, you're not going anywhere. Like I said, this is the game changer. Now the next question I often get is, should I have higher fats, lower carbs, or should I try higher carbs, lower fats? Here's the thing, when you have your calories laid out, so let's say it's something like, 2,000 calories, and you have your protein over here, what ends up happening is you're going to have a certain amount of fat and a certain amount of carbs to meet your needs. Now, if these numbers are changed and instead what you have is you have higher carbs and lower fats, notice it still meets your calorie totals. It doesn't really matter. If I've got a really athletic person who is doing high performance activity, a lot of stop and start, getting out of breath, I'm probably going to give them more carbs. So it's going to be this scenario over here. If I have a person who's a little more sedentary, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to go a little bit higher fats. All right, so really it comes down to the discretion of what is the person trying to achieve? What does the person do on a regular basis to warrant the extra carbs or the lower carbs? So really it comes down to personal preference with regards to your activity level, and that's a conversation that you and I can have. Now, I had mentioned that nutrition is the game changer 100%, but I'm going to tell you right now, a close second is exercise, movement of the body, and it comes down to 4 key things: strength, cardio, mobility, and fat burning. So if you've got a template of, let's say, 7 days, now with regards to strength, you want to preserve your strength, you want to preserve your lean muscle mass at all costs. I'm going to tell you right now, you get to the age of 35, from 35 on, you're going to lose 1% of your muscle mass from there on in. That's something you can't afford to do. So if we get your protein right and we get you exercising, you're going to avoid that totally. So what I recommend is whatever the body part is, whether it's your legs, your chest, your back, your biceps, triceps, what I want you to do is I want you to create a stimulus on that muscle group twice a week. And you're going to spread it out 48 to 72 hours. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. You're going to train your upper body or lower body or full body on a Monday. Here's your weight training. You're going to hit it again on Thursday. Now, what's the principle behind this? Let's say here's your strength, there's your muscle. What happens is when you train, and this is Monday, when you train, you break down your body. All right, it's weaker than it was before because you've got these muscle tears, you've worn it out. What happens is over the course of the next couple of days, your body recuperates and it compensates based on the stimulus to get stronger than it was previously. Now that's a good thing. Left to its own devices and not training after 3 days, you go back to where you were before. And that's not progress. So instead what you want to do is right around here, you want to train again, break down the muscle, and again, you're weaker than you were before. But this time, as it comes up, as you recuperate, you're a little bit stronger than you were before. Then over time, you'll notice the graph kind of looks like this, where eventually over time, a couple months later, you're over here and you're a hell of a lot stronger than you were before. That's called progressive weight training. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to give yourself time to recuperate in between workouts. So 48 to 72 hours. You provide the stimulus that you need to provide. You're close to failure on your sets. You feel like you've torn the muscles properly, good form, good range of motion, and the proper rep range. Then what's going to happen is you are going to see this progression. So strength training is huge, and that's the way you do it. Now, personally, what I would do is I would throw in a third session somewhere over here, and this is your mobility training. Now, this training right here is going to be a little bit higher in reps. It's going to be a little less rest in between. We're going to be moving a little bit quicker. And this one over here is all about flushing the lactic acid out of your muscles. It's a little bit of a cardio workout. You're going to work on your range of motion. You're going to work on your mobility so you remain alive. You're not stiff, okay? Because weight training tends to stiffen you up. This is more flexibility, it's more mobility, it's more cardio. This is absolutely essential to part of your plan. And then when you loop around, you get back to the strength training, you're super strong for these days, making some progress before, again, removing the lactic acid once again on the Friday. So we can design that program for you. We can chat it up. And that's the purpose of these free Zoom calls as part of the Team 21 Strong Nation, where you can ask questions and, pick each other's brains and come up with something that works for you. Now let's talk about cardio. Where do you put cardio in? You can put it in, like I'll tell you right now, anytime you're doing legs, if you're doing legs properly, you're gonna work your heart and lungs. Over here, this workout, when you reduce the amount of rest in between your sets, trust me, that's cardio. Now, can you do some kind of cardio on a Tuesday or a Thursday or a Sunday? Absolutely, you can build it in. You can go for a brisk walk, get out of breath a little bit. You can play basketball, stop, start. You're gonna be huffing and puffing. You can sprint on the beach. You can get onto your life cycle. You can pedal really hard for 30 seconds, back off for 30 seconds. The reason why I'm saying this is what you want to do is you want to get out of breath. By getting out of breath, what ends up happening is you're taxing your lungs, you're taxing your heart. So what it does is it compensates by getting stronger. That's a good thing. Now understand, you're going to be burning a lot of carbs when you do this kind of exercise, right? And that's fantastic. It'll chip away at your calorie totals. You're going to get into a deficit. You're going to get a little bit leaner. It's not necessarily a fat burning mechanism. Now understand, when you rev up your metabolism long after the workout, you're going to be burning fat at a higher level. All right, that's a good thing. But this is not necessarily fat burning. You're going to do that down here. And the way you put it in the fat burning is you're going to go for a long walk with your dog. You're going to get onto the treadmill, watch TV or listen to a podcast, and you're going to walk it out for 30 minutes, flush your body of the lactic acid. But this has a different role. This is kind of like on your off days outside of weight training. Now, can you do some cardio or some fat burning over here on Monday? Absolutely. Take your dog out for a walk. Get active. They talk about taking stairs instead of the elevator, standing up, walking around a lot more. They're talking about fat burning. Okay, number 3 on the list is water intake. So here's the idea. What you want to do is you want to drink 8 to 10 glasses. So how much is a glass? You're looking at about 250 milliliters. And what I do is this. Here's my tall glass of water. My first half is going to be 250 mils, and my second half is going to be 250 mils. That's 500 mils. So I've met 2 of the 8. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this in the morning right before breakfast. Now by doing that, for your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner, the moment I do that for breakfast, I've already taken care of my 2, but more importantly, what I've done is I've created a little bit of satiation. All right, I'm hydrated, I'm satiated, so when I eat, once I finish eating, I'm no longer as hungry as I would have before without drinking the water. So that's part 1. Part 2 is I'm going to systematize my drinking, and I'm going to have, for lunch, I'm going to have 2 glasses of water right before I have my lunch. Same concept. Now all of a sudden, I'm at 4 out of the 8. Third thing for dinner, systematize my dinner. I'm going to have 2 more glasses right before dinner, so that once I've had those 2 glasses, I have my food. I'm like, you know what, shoot, I'm not very hungry. I don't feel like going for seconds. Really, really good strategy. And then finally, you've got your workout where what you're going to do is you're going to have 2 more glasses of water. And now you're at 8. I've met my quota for the day. All right. And sometimes what you do is you haven't drank water throughout the day and you're like, man, I'm really hungry. When in fact, what you really are is you're thirsty. And if you drank the water in the first place, you wouldn't feel as hungry. All right. This to me was the biggest game changer because I never drank water in the past. I drank my coffee, my Diet Pepsi. I was dehydrated. I'm like, shoot, man, I'm so hungry. The moment I introduced 8 glasses of water, I no longer had that hunger anymore. Try it. Give it a try. This is going to be a game changer in itself. And we talk about 8 to 10 glasses. Sometimes the weather's going to be really hot outside and you just have those 2 extra glasses throughout the day. Now understand something. You might be a bigger person. You might need 10 glasses, right? You might need taller glasses, or it might be super hot, or you might be working like mad, like in construction or something like that. You're going to need some more glasses of water, and that's okay. But the bottom line is you do want to get your water, you do want to systematize it. You don't want to leave the water for later in the day. You know, you're over here at dinner, it's 6 p.m. and you've only had 2 glasses of water and you're trying to play catch up. Guess what happens later on in the evening? You're gonna be going to the washroom all night long. You don't want to do that. So water is the third part of the equation, and it truly is a game changer. It's gonna make you feel better. You're not gonna have the joint pain. Your muscles are gonna look fuller. You're gonna perform better. Trust me, drink your water. Step number 4 of the core 5, I mean, to be honest with you, it could be the most important, is getting your sleep. So what we want to do is we want to get 6 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep if we can. We want the best sleep environment, proper temperature, proper bed, less distractions. Don't have your phone near your bed, you know, put it away. You're not going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And what you want to do is you want to set a regular bedtime. So let's say that's something like 10 p.m. and you want to wake up at whatever time you would normally wake up, 6 a.m. for example. All right, you don't want to break from that. That's your circadian rhythm. So if it's not 10, it's 11 p.m. and it's 7 a.m. wake up. I want you to stick to that, whether it's Saturday, Sunday. I want you to stick to your circadian rhythm. It's a major game changer when it comes down to your sleep. Now, the other thing is always keep a regular bedtime. Always keep a regular wake-up call. Easier said than done, but I'm telling you, this right here makes a difference. Your body loves regularity. Get into the habit of sticking to this plan. Now, you might be saying, well, I like to stay up late Friday night. All right, truly, if you want to get into shape and you want to get into that elite category, you got to follow the plan. I mean, there's got to be some compromises along the way. 6 to 8 hours, and I'm going to tell you right now, you are going to repair your body from the work that it's had, from the stress that it's had. You're going to feel better. Now, when you don't get your sleep, here's what I find. You wake up very early, or it was just an interrupted sleep. What happens is you're groggy throughout the day. You're more stressed throughout the day. When you step on the scale, your weight might be a little bit higher. You're like, what happened? That happens sometimes when you don't get proper sleep. And you're going like, I just don't feel good. I feel like I'm hungry. I feel like I'm irritated. Worst thing you could do is not get proper sleep. Get into the routine of getting your 6 to 8 hours sleep. It'll truly change your life, and it's going to really compound the effect of the weight training, the nutrition, and the water. Okay, the final thing comes down to your mindset. I'm going to tell you right now, when you look at your self-esteem, notice that there's some douchebags out there who think the world owes them everything. They're so confident, they believe that they need to drive the best car, that somebody owes them something, and because of that, they actually get what they ask for. They have a heightened sense of self-esteem that their standards are higher, and they end up getting what they want. Now, some of us, we play it small. You know, I'm not good enough to get a great body. I'm not good enough to achieve big success. And then we shoot down to we're a 6 out of 10. You will only rise to the level of your self-esteem. If you see yourself as a 6, you will not go beyond a 6. Even if you've got an amazing program, you're going to self-sabotage 100%. So what you got to do is you got to increase your self-esteem through your identity. You got to see yourself as a different person. You got to see yourself as a winner. Now, there's a couple things you can do. Number 1 is keep the promises you make to yourself. Get the small wins daily. I'm going to tell you right now, that's a game changer with regards to how you feel. So often we say we're going to do something, we don't follow through, and that chips away at you. So that's number 1. Number 2, you want to get involved with a community of winners. Now, the 21 Strong Nation, that's our community. You know, you join the community, you're around peers who are running the same race, and you've got me by your side cheering you on. But the bottom line is, if I put you in a village, the Olympic village with Usain Bolt and the rest of his team, you'd start talking differently. You'd start acting differently. You'd probably eat differently. Or your mindset would be like the mindset of a champion. So get around a community, a proper community, versus hanging out with Joe in his garage and bashing the Toronto Maple Leafs drinking beer. Okay, that's not going to get you anywhere. So the other thing is your community. And I want to talk to you about these 3 things. Number 1, news. Negative news, get rid of it. It puts you in a state of stress. So my take on it, get rid of the news, get rid of CNN, get rid of Fox News, don't listen to it. The world's not going to change. all right? And you don't really have an impact on some of that stuff either. Number two, I want you to put positive stuff in your head. So whether it's journaling, meditation, which is, it's not quite my thing. What my thing is good podcasts. I'll listen to Joe Rogan, some other good podcasts from Ed Milet, Andy Frisella, and I'm gonna learn stuff. And that just increases my knowledge base. That's a big thing for me. The other thing I'll do too is I'll read 5-10 minutes, read 5 pages out of a book that's really inspiring, motivational. What I'll also do is take a look at some really good quotes and say, man, that's a really good quote. I'm going to apply it. So what you take is you take your positive input from those sources and you apply it to your day and own it, right? And the third thing is I want you to have constant reminders of your why, right? Bottom line is write down why you're doing this. Get pictures of what you may want to look like that'll inspire you and say, shoot, that's what I'm fighting for. When it's Friday night and you feel like eating pizza, and you take a look at that picture and you're like, shoot, I really want this. I'll tell you right now, nothing tastes as good as looking and feeling great is. All right, so that's a third part. Give yourself some reminders on your phone throughout your house of what your goal is and stick with it. But this mindset is critical, and your self-esteem and your identity is critical to your progress. All right, final thing. All 5 of these work in tandem. You could have the best food intake, really good exercise, your sleep is perfect, your water intake is amazing, and have a really shitty attitude, and I guarantee you, you're gonna sabotage your progress. You're not gonna go anywhere. So that has to be on. You could have a situation where you're working out like crazy, you're sleeping really well, you're drinking your water, your mindset is bang on, you're eating too many calories, and you're like, why am I not losing weight? Well, because we didn't calculate your calories, you're not getting your protein in, your nutrients are shitty, and you're just not making progress. So you're gonna sabotage everything. You can have a situation where your food's on, and your sleep is really good, your water's really good, your mindset is really good, but you're not exercising. You're like, why am I not going anywhere? Well, no shit, you're not providing the stimulus for progress. That's what ends up happening. Or, I know this sounds repetitive, but just hear me out. You could have a situation where you're eating the proper food, you're exercising really well, you're drinking your water, get your mindset on, and your sleep is totally messed up. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna make it tough to stick with your plan because you're gonna be like, shoot man, I'm tired. Because I'm tired, I don't feel like making dinner or feel like ordering out. And that's where you sabotage your progress. One more thing. You've got a situation where your food is on, your exercise is on, your sleep is on, your mindset's on, but you're not drinking water. So what ends up happening there is you've got a situation where your body's sore, you're dehydrated, you're craving food when you really should be craving water, and that's the case. You're just not drinking enough water. And what ends up happening is you sabotage this whole process. So what I want you to do is the sum of all the parts, all 5 of these, if you're getting 8 out of 10 in each of these, and you're scoring 40 out of 50 with regards to all 5, you're going to see some progress. If you boost yourself to a 9 out of 10 for each of these, what's going to end up happening is you're going to score 90 percentile. You're going to be making some really good progress. Do I expect you to get 10 across the board? You're a human being. I rarely ever get 10 out of 10. It doesn't matter, but I find if I'm 8.5 to 9 in each of these, I'm going to make progress. Now understand something. You could be a 5 out of 10 here and a 10 across the board, and you're still scoring 45 out of 50. That's a 90%. But this here, the moment you have something like a 5 or a 6, it's going to drop you down like 10 points. So you want to get consistency of 8 out of 10 day in, day out, week in, week out. And that's why we have the 21 strong challenge, where you're doing everything properly. And if you do everything properly daily, what ends up happening is after 21 days, you form a habit. The next 21 days, what ends up happening is you start seeing some changes. The following 21 days, you start seeing some big changes. And the last 21 days, you've got some kind of mastery, right? Now, you don't follow through on any particular day, you go back to day 1, start over again, because you got to form those habits. But it's these habits that are going to make the biggest difference to changing your body. Welcome back. Now you'll notice that was a lot of info. Now, I've given you the framework to take your game to the next level. Now it's your turn to personalize the experience, make it your own, and put the plan into action. Now, every Tuesday night, I have a free Zoom call. It's a call that you're more than welcome to join. I'm going to give you cutting edge info to take your game to the next level. come out to the call. You can find my link on my homepage of ultimatemensPlaybook.com, or you can click the link on my TikTok and see the Zoom link on the homepage. Now understand something, the call is free, and you can be part of it every week, no charge. So what's the catch, Tom? What's the deal? For 25 years, I've been changing people's lives, whether it's been athletes, people trying to get into the pro ranks, collegiate athletes, people who are 425 pounds, executives, it doesn't really matter. This is my way of continuing to share a topic I'm really passionate about and help out men in a time where we're just so desperately in need of having men step up. So for now, join our Tuesday night call, say hi, and learn from me. I promise you it'll change your life.